We make things. We use our hands, minds, and machines to build, to fix, to improve. We're known as do-it-yourselfers, home improvement fans, fix-it fanatics, inventors. At our core, though, we're all makers. So let's jump in and make something.
Hi, I'm Ron Hazelton. Welcome to the show. Today we're going to explore what's right overhead, the ceiling, or as some like to call it, the fifth wall. From the 1950s onward, sprayed-on acoustic or popcorn ceilings were quite widespread. In recent years, though, their popularity has diminished. If you're tired of the popcorn look, well, you really have two options. Take it off or cover it up. Today we'll explore both. I've also got a couple of handy tips to share, so let's get started. If your house was built during the 60s, 70s, or even 80s, then you may have ceilings that look like this. These are called acoustic or sometimes popcorn ceilings, and well, they've kind of gone out of favor today. Now you can take them down, but that's a bit messy, or you can cover them up. Now we're going to hide this popcorn ceiling by covering it with these PVC tiles. Interesting thing about this material is that it's very flexible, extremely thin, and lightweight. To select the tiles I wanted to use, I went to the Decorative Ceiling Tile website. Here I found a wide variety of patterns and colors. I made my selection, and a few days later the tiles arrived. Before the tiles can be put up, a couple of things have to come down. The overhead light fixture, for example. Turn off the power at the circuit breaker, remove the canopy, disconnect the wires, and unfasten the fixture from the electrical box. Vent grill covers like this also need to be removed. For this project, we'll begin putting up the tiles at the center of the ceiling, then work outward. Measure each wall, then find and mark the center point. Drive in a small nail, loop the end of a chalk line over it, move to the opposite wall and place the other end of the chalk line on the center point there. Snap the chalk line. Then repeat the process for the remaining two walls. The point where the chalk lines intersect is the center of the ceiling. We'll use this water-based quick grab adhesive to attach the tiles. For the ceiling's rough surface, the adhesive's gap-filling abilities are ideal. Cut off the tip of the cartridge with a utility knife. Screw on the dispensing nozzle. Snip off the nozzle about a ½ inch from the end. Then load the cartridge into a caulking gun. Apply adhesive to the back of the tile, placing quarter-sized dollops every 6 to 8 inches. Also apply the adhesive around the perimeter of the tile, about a ½ inch from the edge. Now it's possible to work alone on a project like this, but I find it easier to do it with two people, one applying the adhesive and the other setting the tiles in place. Today, Jim has agreed to give me a hand. Once the tile is in position, press it firmly into contact with the ceiling, using the palm of the hand. Locate the electrical box cutouts by measuring from the edge of the nearest tiles to the center of the opening. Transfer these measurements to the back of a tile and mark a line for each. The point where these two lines intersect is the center of the cutout. Using a compass, draw a circle the same size as the ceiling box. Then cut it out using a utility knife. This style knife allows you to break off a dull blade, exposing a fresh, sharp edge that makes the cutting much easier. Before applying adhesive, do a test fit to make sure the cutout is in the proper position. Let's see how good my measuring was. Not bad. Good.
Once that's been confirmed, apply adhesive as usual, putting a bead around the edge of the opening. These PVC tiles are designed to overlap each other. This makes the seams less visible. The adhesive we're using has a fast grab, yet it still allows the tile to be shifted for adjustment immediately after bonding. For openings like ceiling vents, measure from the edge of the nearest tiles to both edges of the opening. Transfer these measurements to the back of the tile and draw the location of the opening. The opening can be cut out using ordinary scissors. In this case, the opening spans 2 tiles, so we'll repeat the process on the adjacent tile. Once all the full tiles are up, measure the distance between the last full tile and the wall. Do this in 2 places for each tile. Transfer those measurements to the back of a tile, draw a line connecting the 2 marks, and cut the tile using scissors. When applying adhesive to a border tile like this, make sure to run a bead along the cut edge. Well, that's it. All the tiles are up, and our room has taken on a whole new look.
Now, as a finishing touch, we're going to be installing some crown molding right up here where the wall meets the ceiling. And this is the material. It's actually made of polystyrene, which makes it very lightweight. And best of all, it doesn't require any nailing.
The fastest and most accurate way to cut foam molding is with a power miter saw. Place the molding in the saw at the same angle it will be when installed on the wall, and make the cut at 45 degrees. If you don't have access to a power miter saw, you can order these pre-cut corners. With these, the molding requires only a straight cut, which can even be made with a sharp knife. The foam crown molding is held in place with the same quick grab adhesive used for the ceiling tiles. Apply it to the back side of the molding, top and bottom. Press the molding into the corner using a flat hand. Apply sealant to the mitered corners and smooth the material using a finger. With the tiles and molding up, it's time to reinstall any light fixtures or vent grills.
So if you have a popcorn ceiling, or not, this is a terrific and easy way to add a whole new dimension to a room. Now, my friend Teen Osborne, no relation to Ozzy, is looking to get rid of the popcorn ceiling that clashes with his Casa's Spanish style. Now, truth is, I do prefer my popcorn at the movies and not on the ceiling, so I'm going to show him how to remove it. It's really a lot easier than you may think.
As you can see, the ceiling needs some work.
Oh yeah? Yeah, this is not part of the 1930s design, is it?
No, I think the original owners did some work in the 80s.
All right, well, you know what? It's not that difficult to take this down. It's a little bit messy.
Okay.
So we'll do a lot of preparation work here just to protect the walls and the floors. First thing, though, let's get the furniture out of here.
Okay.
I'll
The
begin
chairs.
with it.
We're going to be using
great.
water to remove the acoustic ceiling, so we want to make sure the electricity is off.
Okay, Teen, go ahead.
Team goes outside to the circuit breaker box, and I insert my circuit tester in a receptacle. When Team throws the breaker that controls the outlet, the tester will stop beeping.
Good, that's it.
With the power off, Team takes down the light fixture from the ceiling.
Oh, that was pretty easy, Ron.
Okay, well, first electrical job in the new place.
Next, we're going to cover the walls and floor with layers of heavy-duty plastic.
This is just a little added insurance here for the receptacles, even though we've turned the power off. So let's go ahead and...
We tape small pieces of plastic over each outlet. Next, we extend the plastic floor sheeting up the walls a foot or so and tape the edge. This will keep any water from getting under the baseboards.
So all that water is going to be dripping?
It will come right down here, yeah.
Oh, okay. It kind of makes me nervous, Ron.
Well, it should.
Next, we run a strip of painter's tape along the upper edge of the walls, about 1/4 inch below the ceiling. This will give us a good seal at the top. Then we cover the entire wall with plastic, taping the top edge to the strip of tape we just put up. Finally, we roll out a layer of rosin paper. Now this will absorb a lot of the water that falls from the ceiling, help prevent the floor from getting slippery, reduce the possibility of tracking debris into other parts of the house, and make cleanup a lot easier.
Some blown-on acoustical ceilings applied before the early 70s contain asbestos, and they should be removed only by a certified asbestos removal contractor. Now you can find out if your ceiling contains asbestos by taking a small sample and then send it off to an EPA certified testing lab before you begin your removal project. Okay, team, now for the fun part. This is just a garden sprayer, plain water in here.
Okay.
We're going to start applying this to the ceiling. Probably want to work in an area about 4 to 5 feet square at a time. It's probably better to make several passes and kind of let it soak it up as you go. The acoustic material on a ceiling like this can absorb a lot of water. The trick is to wet it thoroughly, but not over-wet it. Too much water can damage the paper surface of the wallboard underneath. Now this is what we're going to use to scrape this material off the ceiling. It's a joint knife. You can think of it as kind of a wide putty knife. So what I was doing a moment ago was rounding off the corners right here. That will prevent us from gouging the ceiling, something we'd have to repair later on. Now the water has done most of the work. This popcorn ceiling is just about falling off by itself. If we run into any hard scraping, we'll stop, apply a little more water, wait, and then try again. Before team gets too far, we take a little break and unroll a second layer of rosin paper right on top of the ceiling debris. Presto, we've got a nearly clean floor surface again. In less than an hour, team is removing the final remnants of his old popcorn ceiling. With the dirty work done, we take down the plastic sheeting from the walls and roll up the wet paper and plastic on the floor. The mess from the old ceiling gets wrapped up inside, and the whole thing goes into a large garbage bag. Now, the same water that so easily removed the acoustic coating has also loosened the paper joint tape. So now we've got a bare joint right here, and we're going to have to recover that. Okay. So step one, this is joint compound right here. Mixed it up in a tray, and I'm going to put this on using about a 6-inch knife. First, we lay down a thin layer of joint compound along the joint line. Beautiful. Next, I dip the joint tape in a bucket of water and squeeze off the excess between my fingers. I find that the wetting the tape makes it stick to the joint compound better and reduces the likelihood of air bubbles. Team uses a putty knife to press the tape into the joint compound and smooth off the excess. That same water that caused our tape to come loose has kind of eroded these nail holes. This is joint compound that was put on to cover up the depressions from the nail holes or screw holes, whatever they used here. Sure. So we're going to have to bring those back up flush with the wallboard. We use the joint compound sparingly, just enough to fill the holes. It's faster to make too thin applications than overfilling and having to do a lot of extra sanding later. A little steeper. That's pretty good. Well, our joint compound is dry. Now we're going to do a little sanding, but we're not going to use sandpaper. We're going to use instead a sanding mesh like this right here. Now this is designed to go on a sanding pad, and this particular sanding pad is on the end of a long pole so that we don't have to go back up on the ladder. Team, all set. You're all ready to go here. Just hold this up on the ceiling. The secret here is to sand off high ridges. Low spots will be filled with another coat of joint compound. Well, the popcorn's gone. Yeah. Got a little bit of stuff on us in the process, but we're not too bad
it's not
here.
Too bad.
You got a couple things left to do. You're probably going to want to put on maybe 1, maybe 2 skim coats just to fill up any low spots with a light sanding in between. And then prime this. And be sure and choose a primer that says for wallboard.
Okay.
And then you can leave it. You can put a final coat of paint on, or you can texture it to match your walls right here, whatever. That would be your choice at this point.
Okay.
Anyway, the first probably of many home improvement projects here in this house, huh?
I'm energized. I have confidence now.
Well, I say leave the popcorn for the movies. A smooth ceiling is the first step in making Team's vision for his dream house a reality.
Here's how to remove a screw whose head is broken off or missing using a hollow screw extractor bit. This bit works best in a drill press. Lock it in the chuck. Center the hollow bit over the screw shaft and begin drilling. Move the drill up and down to clear any wood chips on the inside. Use a small screwdriver to break off the wooden plug, then remove the plug and screw shaft. Select a dowel the same size as the outside diameter of the hollow drill. Cut off a small section, apply glue, insert the dowel into the hole, and tap it to the bottom. Then cup the dowel flush to the surface. Now, if you don't have a drill press, drill a hole through a scrap piece of wood using a bit that's the same size as the outside diameter of the hollow screw extractor. Position the hole over the broken screw. Load the extractor in a handheld drill and, using the scrap as a drill guide, bore a hole around the screw shaft. Remove the guide and take out the screw shaft and core.
Now I have both a mechanics vise for metal and a woodworking vise for wood. But if you've only got the mechanics version, well, there is a way to convert it for wood. I'm planning to make wooden jaw covers that will be held in place with magnets. I'll start with 4 pieces of 1x2, about a foot long. These dimensions, though, can be whatever you like. My metal vise has 2 screws on each jaw. I want to mark the locations for my magnets so that they will not fall on the top of these screw heads. Using the drill press and a Forstner bit, I drill shallow holes that will house the magnets. It's important that the holes be just deep enough to allow the top surface of the magnet to sit flush with the wood jaw. Now I'm using CA, or instant dry cyanoacrylate glue, to secure the magnets in place. Hot melt glue would also work. Next, it's back to the drill press to bore clearance holes for the screws that will hold the 2 jaw pieces together. I drill countersinks so the screw heads will not protrude above the surrounding surface. I apply wood glue to the edge of one jaw part, set the second part in position, and attach them together with screws. The wood pads simply slip over the metal vise jaws and are held in place with the embedded magnets. Because they're attached, the wooden pads move as the vise jaws move. Vise pads like these are especially useful for securely holding wood or other soft materials without the risk of damage from the metal jaws. The enlarged clamping surface also improves holding power.
To view today's projects again and countless more, go to HouseCallsDIY.com. Step-by-step home improvement tips when you need them.
I'm Brian Kelsey. Welcome to House Calls.
Join us as we tackle some great home projects, as well as look back at favorites from Ron Hazelton on House Calls.